Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Life Sciences. This is Dr. Rajni and today we will be discussing another question of CSIR JRF NET December 2019 from the part B. Here we are not only discussing the answer of the questions, rather I am completely discussing particularly that topic. Why I am doing so? Because if you will see the pattern of CSIR NET question, you will see that certain topics are very favorite topics of the question setter. So that topic always comes, but usually it at least one question will be there from that topic. So if we will be have a proper command on those topics, then we can surely crack the any type of competitive examination asked from the life sciences. So CSIR JRF NET is one of the very common competitive examinations which mostly life science students used to give, especially after the MSc. So here the question number 3 is, which one of the following regulatory proteins can act as a positive and negative regulator on binding to the same DNA elements? Actually, the answer is lambda CI repressor. And what is the exactly mechanism that its own binding can regulate its functioning in both positive and negative manner? So we will be discussing detail on this topic. So actually what happens, lambda is a virus which infect the bacteria, especially E. coli lambda. So here we will be discussing the mechanism, how it actually acts. So what happens, once landing on the surface of bacteria, it's settle down on the surface of bacteria and eject its genomic material. And once the genomic materials enter inside the bacteria, it changes from linear form, it changes into the circular form. After circularization of the genome of virus, what will happen? Two things can happen with the bacterial cells. Either the viral genome will integrate with the bacterial genome to form the prophase, and along with the division of the cells, the genomic material of virus will also be replicating and it will be preserved in the bacterial cells. Another method which can be there is the lytic cycle. What happens in this? The genome of virus will replicate inside the bacteria and it assists, or with the help of bacterial genome, it will form its protein, and after its complete synthesis it will lyse the cell of bacteria and it will move to the outer environment, and then it will infect other bacteria nearby. How the virus will decide to that which cycle they have to follow? Actually, there are certain sets of genes which decide that which type of cycle need to be followed by the virus at what time. So we will be here discussing about those genes. So actually, whenever any virus enters the bacterial cells, what happens? Two genes are first to be stimulated. These are the ANG genes and the CRO genes. So as soon as viral genome enters the bacterial cells, what will happen? It will recruit the bacterial RNA protein to start the transcription. Here you can see here AN and CRO proteins are there, and we know that for the transcription there is a requirement of an operator system, a promoter, and there are the terminator system also, which will decide up to what length the transcription has to occur. Similarly, in this strand also, because E. coli is a double stranded DNA, so in one strand of the DNA there will be CRO protein will be present, and on the other complementary strand and gene will be present. So what happens here? I have also written R and L. I just simply written this alphabet to simplify my lecture so that you can understand. R means that transcription will proceed toward the right hand side, and we know that whatever the function is going on one strand, in the complementary strand just opposite reaction or opposite direction will be followed. So on the complementary strand, the transcription will transcribe toward the left hand side. So this will be the all of the process, in the whole of the transcription process, the direction will be well maintained. Now after as soon as a virus DNA will enter inside the bacteria. It will recruit the bacterial RNA polymerase to transcribe the RNA of these two proteins or two genes. And what will happen because of that? N protein and CRO protein will be formed. Now, what are the requirement of N protein and CRO protein? But along with the N protein and CRO proteins, the other genes are also present. As in one strand, along with the CRO genes, C2, O, P and Q genes are present. Whereas in other strand, complementary strand, C3 and XIS genes are present. Now the question is that if here is a terminator is there, then how is it possible to cross the terminator? So the answer lies with the N gene. The product of N gene or the N protein which is synthesized here will bind to the both of the terminator site, both on the TR1 as well as on the TL1 site. So actually N protein act as a anti-terminator. So what will happen after the termination of the terminator itself? The sequence of RNA transcribed will be lengthened, or the more amount of what will happen, not only N protein or CRO protein, rather in this strand, in the down strand, we will be having C2 protein, O protein, P protein all together, and in the other strand, in the complementary strand, we will be having C3 and XIS protein. Now what happened? Alone C2 are not stable. So in the small concentration, what will happen? It will be degraded by the bacteria itself. But when C3 protein will be synthesized, it will combine with the C3 protein and now it will become stable. So the function of C3 protein is to stabilize C2 protein, and the function of C2 protein is to initiate the lysogenic cycle, which we will discuss a little bit later. But first focus on the lytic cycle. Here one more protein is there, which is the XIS. XIS protein just act as a scissor. So what happened actually? How and what are the function of XIS protein? We will just discuss a bit later on. But before that, what will happen till C2, O and P protein has not been initiated by the N protein, CRO protein was continuously synthesizing. So there will be continuous increase in the concentration of CRO protein. With the increase of the CRO protein, what will happen? The increased concentration of CRO protein will bind to the OR1 and OL1. Okay, both the operator region will be followed up by the CRO protein. So after this, what will happen? Because of the binding, and CRO protein will not be synthesized, but Q protein which is there will able to synthesize its product, because here Q is also act as a anti-terminator and it activate middle genes and late genes, which help in the formation of the other enzymes required for the lysis of the cell wall, and it activates the lytic cycle. Now what will happen? Q protein along with the XIS protein will initiate the lysis cycle of the bacteria, of the survival of the virus. How it happens? So Q protein will be here activating the enzymes required for the lysis of the bacterial cells, whereas XIS protein has some different function. Let's see what is the function of the XIS protein. So what happens? We know that the viral genome will replicate by the process of rolling circle mechanism. Now take it out and zoom it out. When we will zoom it out, we will find that because of the rolling circle mechanism, a number of times rolling has been taken place, and number of different DNAs or number of DNAs or the amount of number of DNA has been synthesized continuously in a single chain. So after that, what happens? XIS protein will cleave the cos site. We know that the site where the DNAs are attached together of the fast DNA are known as cos site. So this recognizing this cos site, XIS protein will cut each and individual whole genome of the virus, and what will happen after that? It will change again into the circular form, and after formation of number of replicated DNA molecules or the genomic molecules of viral viral genome, what will happen? It will activate the synthesis of its capsid protein, tail protein and collar protein, and what will happen? Complete virus will be synthesized, and with the help of enzyme produced by the Q protein, they will lyse the bacterial cell wall and come out of the bacterial cells. Here it ends the lysis of the lytic cycle of the phase replication. Now moving to the lysogenic cycle. Lysogenic cycle is also been activated by the similar genes, but in addition to the genes which is required for the lytic cycle, there is the need of another gene which is a CI, which we were focusing about, which is our it is also known as lambda CI repressor, and this is the topic which we will be focusing to answer our question. Now what happens? I have discussed that C2 and C3 altogether form a stable compound because C2 itself will be degraded by the bacterial proteins, but in presence of C3, what will happen? They form a complex, and when it will form complex, it will then activate PRE, promoter region, which is also specific for the CI protein, and another gene is there which is PI, and instead of XIase, I have replaced it with the INT. INT is a protein which produces the integrase protein, and the function of integrase protein is to both integrate the viral genome with the bacterial genomes, as well as they have the capability to disintegrate that. Now what will happen? As soon as this complex C2 and C3 complex will bind to the promoter region of PRE and P1, it will be activating the function, the synthesis of CI protein or the lambda CI repressor. Now after its synthesis, here INT protein will be synthesized. I have told that INT or integrase protein will activate the binding of viral genome to the bacterial genome to form the prophase. Now what will happen? After the formation of CI protein, it will bind to the operator region OR1 site as well as OL1 site. So what we have seen, that OR1 and OL1 were synthesizing the CRO and N protein. So as soon as the CI protein will binding to the, or lambda repressor will bind to the operator regions, then what will happen? The synthesis of N and CRO protein will be stopped, but it will activate the synthesis of its own protein. So it's look like that after just initiation of the lysis cycle, lytic cycle is not going to end, but it is not so, because definitely after the formation of C2 and C3 protein, what will happen? It will activate the PRE and P1 site, and it will start the synthesis of CI protein, but it also doesn't end forever. It also has a certain ending. How it ends? Let's zoom out the operator site, which is here. Actually here the operator is not a single operator. 3 different operators are functioning all together, and the promoter region which is there just to activate the synthesis of lambda CI repressor protein is overlapping with the third one, the third protein. The promoter of CI is overlapping with the operator OR1. Okay, actually it exactly overlap with the OR3 region. So there are 3 different regions of operator: OR1, OR2 and OR3. The binding affinity of the CI protein is very much high with that of the OR1. So when CI protein repressor is just started synthesizing, what will happen? Even at the low concentration, it has the ability, being more affinity towards the OR1, it will bind to the OR1 first, and the binding of OR1 actually halts the synthesis of CRO protein. Then when again we know that here again the transcription is going on, So more CI repressor will be formed at this time, as OR1 is been filled with the previously synthesized CI, so or CI or C1 or lambda or repressor. So now this time it will bind to the OR2. OR2 binding with the CI protein actually promotes the CI transcription. Now actually this is just similar to the lac repressor. So what happens when lac repressor is present? What will happen? RNA polymerase will able to bind to the site, but as soon as it will be occupied by the OR1, the RNA polymerase will not be able to bind with this site. So this acts similar to the lac operon, but what happens when its concentration increases? So what will happen when again CI protein will be synthesized, more CI protein will be synthesized? What will happen? It will now bind to the OR3, and the binding the of OR3, what will happen? As it overlaps with the promoter region, so what will happen? The binding of RNA polymerase to this site will be prevented because of binding with the OR3. So this will lead to the halting of its own gene transcription. So this is the reason why CI is termed as a repressor, which acts as both as a negative and positive repressor of itself by binding at a particular DNA segments. So I hope you have understood why the answer will be lambda CI repressor. Now moving forward, it seems that after entering into the lysogenic cycle, lytic cycle will not be maintained, but viruses are clever enough. What they do, as soon as they feel that now bacterial DNA is in danger, or the bacterial DNA has been treated with some UV light, laser light, or some medicines are there, and now bacterial DNA will be damaged, then what will happen? Along with the damaging of bacterial DNA, whatever treatment is there, it will damage the the genome of virus also. So what do the virus do? The INT protein, which we have seen there, the INT protein will disintegrate the DNA from the bacterial genome. How it happens? So during any danger condition, bacteria produces REC-A protein, and this REC-A protein will cleave the CI repressor protein, and because of the cleavage of CI repressor protein, what will happen? We know that because of cleavage of CI protein, what will happen? Just below, what the site? The operator site of CRO and will be released, and this will again start activating the formation of the N protein, and N protein will again start forming the XIS. Here XIS of gene will be there, and this XIS gene will able to, and along with the Q protein, it will able to carry out the lytic cycle of the bacteria. So here virus can regulate themselves to follow either lytic cycle or the lysogenic cycle, depending on the condition present in the around the environment, and also they also do as per their requirement. Now coming back to the question. The question was what? Which one of the following regulatory protein can act as a positive and negative regulator on binding with the same DNA element? So exactly the answer will be lambda CI repressor. Now again I am revising it very quickly. What will happen as soon as the bacterial DNA, viral DNA or genome will enter inside the DNA, RNA, whatever will be there, it will enter inside the bacterial cells. It will activate the formation of N protein and CRO protein. Binding formation of N protein will block the terminator site of both the N and CRO protein, and this will activate the further formation of more RNA molecules or the lengthy RNA molecules along with the synthesis of the Q protein. And when the Q protein will be synthesized, and in this site when XIS will be synthesized, and what will happen? Along with the XIS, Q protein will be integrated. Q protein will release the enzyme which will undergo lysis of the bacterial cells, and XIS will have to form a number of the copies of the viral genome, and after that formation of all the proteins required for the viral genome, it will be become a complete organism, and it will come out of the bacteria by lysing the cell wall of the bacteria. And in the case of lysogenic cycle, what will happen? C2 and C3 will bind together. Here 2 as well as 3, sorry, not here, C2 as well as C3 will bind at the promoter region of PRE and P1 side, and this will lead to the formation of integrase protein and CI protein. So CI protein will, what it will do, it will bind to the operator region and it will block the formation of CRO. Here also it will bind to the operator site and it will block the formation of N protein. Then what will happen? At the low concentration, it will be blocking the formation of CRO protein, but when the concentration will be increased, as one more operator site is there, which is OR3, it will, which is overlapping with the promoter site of CI gene, and on binding of the CI protein over here, the binding of RNA polymerase at this site will be, or the affinity of binding of RNA polymerase to the promoter for the CI gene will be decreased, and now CI will be halted. And CI protein along with the integrase protein helps in the formation of prophase, or the integration of the genome of bacteria and virus together to form the prophase, and they will follow the lysogenic cycle. So these were all about the lytic cycle and lysogenic cycle. What is the role of CI protein, CRO protein, integrase protein and exigase protein, Q protein during the switching of lytic cycle and lysogenic cycle. So hope you will have understood, and you will like these videos. And if you want to give any suggestions, kindly please give any more suggestion if you want to give in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe and share my channel. In my next class, I will be discussing about this question, rather not in the next class. While you will be watching this video, I might have uploaded the solution of this pedigree analysis question. Till then, you try by yourself how to solve this pedigree analysis, and just within 5 or 10 minutes I will be uploading this solution also. So hope if any question will be from the lytic cycle and lysogenic cycle regarding any types of gene responsible for that in the CSI question will be asked, you are not going to miss any of the questions. So wishing you all the best, and hope you are studying well during the lockdown period. Don't forget to subscribe and share my channel to get the answer of this question. Till then, goodbye and have a nice day.